Is this the best new beginner 450 sports bike? Let's take a look. The beginner sports bike segment has been a bit stagnant in recent years, but CFMOTO looks ready to add some spice with the 450SR, offering a competitive package for $7,990 right away here in Australia for 2023. The only price reference I could find for the US was just shy of $5,250, although I'd call that far from confirmed, and in China they are apparently around that $5K USD mark. While we're not seeing any electricity on this bike, like ride modes or traction control, it's a well decked out machine that should provide some good competition for the likes of the RC390 and Ninja 400. CFMOTO have been pretty on point in delivering value for a number of years, and the 450SR looks like it'll continue that trend, with the manufacturer also really polishing up their offerings in recent years since appearing in Australia. I don't doubt they can match the quality and reliability of the small capacity KTMs and Husqvarnas either, although whether they can match the comparable Japanese offerings on those metrics remains to be seen. Working to CFMOTO's favour is the fact the Ninja 400 hasn't been updated meaningfully since introduction, and the YZF-R3, while updated, has taken a more conservative approach overall. Powering the 450SR is a 270-degree parallel twin, which I'd say is arguably the best configuration for performance, particularly beginner-friendly performance, character, feel and production value, while still meeting restrictions like LAMs here in Australia, with an A2 version expected for Europe too. I own a Husqvarna 401 and Ninja 400 too, so I think I'm in a good position to make that judgment, but there's some subjectivity involved. Here in Australia, the quoted performance figures are 34.5 kilowatts at 10,100 RPM and 39.3 Newton meters at 7,750 RPM, so slightly down on power to the Ninja 400 but slightly up on torque. It's worth mentioning that the claimed performance figures is 37 kilowatts or 49.6 horsepower in other regions, matching that Ninja 400. The 390 or 373cc single is down at 32 kilowatts though. Other features include a slipper clutch, which at this stage is kind of a given, and double balance shaft for vibration suppression. Pistons are forged, conrods split, and CFMOTO reckon the top speed is 190 km per hour. On the chassis side of things though, there's a chromium molybdenum alloy steel frame weighing under 11 kilos with a separate subframe at 4 kilos. Aluminium alloy wheels run 110x70 and 150x60 tyres, both 17-inch of course, with a 6-spoke design, and CFMOTO reckon the swing arm is lightweight, but don't mention what it's constructed of. Considering the wet weight figure is 179 kilos, hopefully including a full tank of 14 litres of fuel, that's a fair bit heavier than the Ninja 400 at 168 kilos, and the RC390 runs a dry figure of 155 kilos, but there's a safe 10 kilos to add to that in fuel and liquids at the very least. To the 450SR's credit, the forks are inverted USD 37mm units, so skinnier than the 41mm traditional forks on the Ninja 400 and the 43mm USDs in the RC390. There's no adjustability, but only the KTM RC390 boasts that in the class. At the rear is a multi-link rising rate linkage with preload adjustment matching the Ninja on adjustability, the RC390 adding rebound adjustment in the class-leading loadout. Brakes are impressive with Brembo 4-piston M40 front caliper on 320mm rotor, while a 220mm rear rotor runs a single piston caliper, and both are backed by Bosch 9.1 ABS, but no cornering functionality. A 5-inch TFT is thoroughly modern and includes connectivity with the CFMOTO Ride app, allowing navigation, track lap times, ride history, software updates, movement sensors, and vehicle location. Refreshing not to see features like this locked behind a paywall when already fitted to the bike. There's a USB port too. As far as ergonomics, the 795mm seat height is nice and low for shorter riders, and CFMOTO do note the rider triangle is more aggressive than the smaller 300SR, leaning into the bike's sporty nature and taking it a step further. Now whether you prefer that or not is going to be a subjective situation. The 795mm seat height is 10mm higher than the Ninja 400, although there is a lower and higher seat option available through the accessories range, with the RC390 much taller at 824mm, making it more prohibitive for shorter riders. All three options offer the sports bike riding position, and while that may not be quite as unrelenting as a pure Supersport 600 machine, there's no doubt it'll add more forward bias and weight onto the wrists for unfit riders, but also allow for a better racer crouch. If you want upright, relaxed ergos, you'll need to wait for the naked bike version, if it ever appears. Colour options are Nebula Black with Pearl White or Zircon Black with Velocity Grey, and it would have to be the latter for me. On the styling and lighting side, we also see dual LED headlights, LED indicators, and LED tail light with GP-derived winglets. Doubtful you'll be going fast enough to really see the downforce gains which would make them so useful on the more powerful machines, but they look pretty darn good. Those front indicators are also run in the mirrors and they retract for parking or in the event of a drop or crash. So where does the CFMOTO 450SR land in comparison to bikes like the Ninja 400 and the RC390? I think it's pretty well placed. There's some obvious advantages over the Ninja 400 in the suspension loadout and brakes if the former have been tuned suitably and the brakes are just higher spec. Not that I'd really criticise the Ninja 400 about either, they aren't the highest spec on that bike, but they work exceptionally well in a broad range of conditions. Performance looks very much on par, however the RC390 adds a pretty impressive electronics loadout in this comparison. I'd consider ABS a happy minimum, but if you're really safety orientated, that may make the KTM a standout. The TFT display may be a big win over the Ninja, but it is matched by the KTM. I'd probably also put the CFMOTO at the top of the three in styling with the KTM last, which again is subjective, but the Ninja and 450SR look good in the pics and the RC390 just looks like a bitzer. There's some features which stand out, but it just doesn't come together to my eye. Pricing is the big win for CFMOTO though. It's almost $1,000 cheaper than the Ninja here in Australia, and I think $1,400 cheaper than the RC390. Which is nothing to sneeze at, and pre-orders here in Australia that leave a $500 deposit get some cool bling to sweeten the deal until April anyway. Plus there's the 300SR at a very competitive $6,490 right away if you can't quite stretch to the $7,990 right away price for the 450SR. And again, those are Australian prices. So let me know what you think. Out of these three models, which would you pick and why? Or is there something that I've missed as far as models that would compete with this? Obviously, I have not included the new Ninja ZX4R because it's just a totally different class of bike. So let me know down in the comments and hit like if you've enjoyed the video. Stay safe out there and I'll be back soon.